Hello guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the first review of our M. Night Shyamalan uh, trilogy week. Now he did a trilogy of films which were kind of a sort of horror kind of superhero film trilogy, and we're going to be looking at the first one tonight, which is called Unbreakable, starring Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis. Now, this came out a few years ago, and I saw it a few years ago. Now, this is the 4K release. All three of the trilogy films I'll be reviewing this week are in 4K, which I rarely buy, but just because I really enjoyed Unbreakable when it came out, I picked them up on 4K because I really enjoyed the film. So well, tonight was like a rewatch of Unbreakable. The very last one I've not seen before, so that's going to be a sort of new watch for me. So I'm looking forward to that. Now this one is based on. It starts off with Samuel L. Jackson being born, if you like, his character. Um, which he's got one of those strange names. What's his name? It's not Eugene, is it? Something like that. No, oh, I'm terrible with names, aren't I? I really am. Like Jeremiah, something like that. His name. Let me have a little look. Um, yeah, it doesn't say it, but I think it's something like Jeremiah, something like that. And Bruce Willis' character is David. Now, it starts off with the young Jeremiah being born, and when he's born, that they think that one of the people that delivered him at this, I think it was a theatre or whatever, had dropped him because his arms and legs were broke. But it wasn't. He's actually got this disease that he receives injuries and stuff like that. So, and his arms and legs were broken whilst he was in his mother's womb. And he's got this disease where his bones break really, really easily. And so the film sort of starts off seeing like that really. It's like we don't go much further with this story at the moment, because then we cut to Bruce Willis, who is on a train. He's on a train journey back from New York, going back home. Him and his wife are having marital problems, and looks like they're going to split up. And he's been down to New York for an interview, and you see him on the train, and he's very very down and low. And this young woman sits next to him on the train, and he tries his luck a little bit. He takes off his wedding ring, and then tries to chat her up, but she gets creeped out by him and moves away. So he puts his wedding ring back on. I'm not sure why they sort of shown that. Maybe just to sort of like show that there's something going on in his private life, which we would have found out anyway when we got to the story. And then we see him on the train, and then the train starts moving really, really fast. Sorry about that, my phone just died on me. He says, it doesn't he's got the job, but he's still going to move to New York at some point once he gets one. So we're getting this sort of character sort of build up between these guys, and it's quite sad to see actually, because it's the young lad sort of stuck in the middle, and you can see he wants it to work out, but unfortunately it looks like it's beyond repair. And then they got all the newspaper reports and stuff saying about the big crash, and it's on the news, and he's still bewildered by it all. Let me think what happened next. I think then what happens next, we cut to him at work, and he's at work, and he works as a security guard at at American football grounds, um, and that's his job. Then we cut to um, uh, Samuel L. Jackson's character as like a young boy. He's now probably about sort of like 8 or 9, and he's with his mum, and he's very down as well, and he won't go out, he won't mix with other kids and that because he's so afraid he's going to be injured and break his bones because he's only got to do something and he breaks a bone sort of thing, and he walks with a sort of like a stick. And he's got the nickname Mr. Glass because he just shatters all the time. And we see his mum trying to sort of like encourage him to be more sort of, you got to get on with your life sort of thing. It's a terrible thing you've got, but don't make it you. You still got to live a life and go on. And she buys him a present and she puts it on the bench outside in the local sort of park, which he could see from their apartment window. And if he wants it, he's got to go and get it. So he walks outside and goes and sits on this bench, and he gets his present. He opens his present, and we see it's a comic book, a very early sort of comic book, and it is it's like and this is she comes and joins him, and she says she bought a bunch of these comics. Now, if he wants them, he's got to go out to this bench, sort of like when she puts them there. And she's doing this to encourage him to go out, which I think is quite cool way of doing things, the way she did it. I don't know why my phone's playing up today, guys. I just had a bit of stutter there as well. Excuse me. Yeah, everything's going wrong on my phone. Maybe this film is cursed. But anyway, so this comic book. And then we cut to the future, and he's now grown up. Jeremiah, I think his name is. And he runs an art gallery called Limited Edition. It's not a normal art gallery because these are all artworks from comic books and comic book characters, and they're all sort of like he treats them as pieces of art. And we see him there with some guy who's like a potential buyer for this piece, and he discusses this piece about the detail of it, and what it all sort of meets, and the guy's very happy and wants to buy it. And as he goes to try and buy it, he says, "Oh, my son's going to be really happy with this." And he goes, "Wait a minute, your son? How old's your son?" He says, 4. And then so he gets really angry and he refuses to sell this like pencil drawing of this comic book scene. He won't sell it. He said, "This is not a toy shop. This is an art gallery. This is a piece of art. You need to leave. This is not for a 4-year-old. It's not the Teletubbies." So he won't sell it to him. And we then cut to our main character David again, and he's again at work, and he finds I think he's out with his son or something like that, and he finds a note on his car, and he opens it, this letter, and it's got a limited edition written on it, and inside it says, "When was the last time you were ill?" And so and he can't remember, so he goes to his boss at work and he asks the question, "When was the last time I was off sick?" And he comes back to him as like the boss thinks he's just trying to get a pay rise, so he gives him a $40 a week pay rise, because you've never been off ill since you've been here, not one day. And then when he gets home, he speaks to his wife and asks her, "When have I ever been ill?" And they try and put their brains together, and they cannot remember once when he's been ill. And it turns out he's never ever been ill in his life. Then they try and look back into his youth when he was a teenager, when he met his wife, and he was in a car crash, and he was supposed to have been injured and can't play football anymore because he was a rising American football fan. This is where I think the marriage breakdown came from, because he was going to be an American football star, but he was in this car accident, so he no longer plays it. So I think there's a bit of resentment and jealousy there, but because it turns out he didn't injure himself. That was a lie. Because he'd met her and he was in love with her, he wanted to be with her instead of play football. So he faked he can't play football anymore. He's injured. He had no injury. In fact, later in the film, it cuts to him pulling the car door off with a mere strength to dig her out because she was stuck in the car, and he saves her life. So I think because he chose that direction, there's a little resentment going on there. And I sort of felt that underneath. I think because he works in the American football ground security guard, maybe there's resentment there. Anyway, he's had this note and they can't figure out what it is. So he pays a visit to limited edition art gallery, and he meets Samuel Jackson for the first time. And they start talking about things, and Samuel Jackson believes him to be a superhero. And so he goes out there because he thinks he's cuckoo. He's not a superhero, nothing like that. And then Samuel Jackson seems to pursue him throughout the film when he's at work. And we see he's got another ability, which I'm not going to tell you. I want you to watch it and find out. Is he a superhero? Or is he just someone who's just never been ill? Or does he discover he's got these powers? What is with Samuel L. Jackson? Why is he pursuing him? Why has he got this big interest in finding a superhero? Is he a superhero himself, or is he a villain? You need to watch it and find out. What do I think of Unbreakable? It's incredible. It's amazing. Now, if I've got to choose probably one of my favourite superhero films, this is going to be it. Although it's not really a superhero film, there is some horror elements in the film with a sense of like there's some crimes being committed by serial killers in the film. Like I said, there's a train crash. There's news of a plane crash. There's all these horrible events that are going on. So, and it's got a dark, sort of really eerie undertone to the film, which I love, and it was really, really well made. Now, the pluses of the film, the acting is absolutely stellar. It's so believable, and it's like a really amazing sort of story. The music is great because it really builds the atmosphere of the film. It's quite well scripted. We get some development in the film of the relationship of him and his wife, which seems to improve, and we get the story of his son and him. His son wants him to be this superhero. He's not believing it, and all sort of little things happen, and they start coming closer too as the story unfolds. And it's a really, really great, and it's got a devastating sort of ending to the film, which you think, no, really? So I'm not going to tell you because I don't want to spoil it. Which is really, really cool, and a little bit sort of shocked when I saw the ending, but oh my god, really no. But anyway, really great film. I'm going to score this an incredible watch and give it a 10 out of 10. Yep. To me, it's a 10 out of 10 film. Really, really cool. Now, I know M. Night Shyamalan, a lot of people don't like his films. Now, here's my opinion on that. I don't think it's his films. I think people don't like him because he is quite arrogant. When you see interviews of him, he tries to be very artistic, and he believes in himself so much of being this incredible director. You can see it the way he is. And even on his films, when you've seen the titles come up, it's got written by M. Night, directed by M. Night, produced by M. His name's in about 5 or 6 times on the beginning of the film, being, well, just mate, stop crediting yourself. But he thinks he's a genius. So I think a lot of people put off by that and don't like him. So they think, I don't like his films. And I disagree with that, because I think his films are great. I enjoyed quite a few of them, and not just these. Some of his horror entries, like The Visit, um, and Sixth Sense, and things like that, were fantastic. But this trilogy is a little bit got a little bit of a different sort of a appeal to it. This is why I wanted to do it, because it's a little bit different than these other films. But that's my get on his films. Why people don't like them, and I think it's not because they're rubbish films. I think they just don't like him. And when you don't, it's like let's give you another example, like Morrissey in the music world. Now he's got some terrible political reviews. He's very far right, so a lot of people don't like him, so they don't like his music. But it's nothing to do with his music. His music, the Smiths are fantastic, you know. So it's it's just the way people are, and when they don't like someone, they don't like what they've done. And I think, yeah, that's not the way forward, really, because you might be missing out on something. But anyway, Unbreakable, 10 out of 10. Any of you guys seen it? If you have, let me know down below. It's a great film. It's a really sort of gripping story, and it's only about an hour and 50 minutes long, and it goes really quick. And I'm just thinking, oh man, things they could have done. I just wished it was a bit longer, with a bit more meatier part of when he discovers his sort of ways that he's got. But it in a way, it's kind of cool that it's not like that as well. But it's a really great film. I really highly recommend it. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Now, it's not a horror film essential, but I'm still going to recommend my horror channels, so please check them out. Horror Hands, Horror Geek, Man View Film, RS Design, Pizzawell, I am Icelord, Cat Watches Horror Movies, and Grumpy Andrew's Haunted House. And a massive shout out to my lad. Till the next film, which we're going to be looking at, which I'm just going to grab here, which is the second one in this trilogy. Starring James McAvoy, and it's called Split, and we'll look at that in the next one. Till then, look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I see you all soon.